Yo guys, welcome to this new video. I wanted to do a Q&A for already a few weeks ago, and now I'm finally gonna do it. I asked on Instagram for you guys to ask me some questions, so I got a few and I will answer these. So I hope you will enjoy this video. Don't forget to subscribe on my channel to don't miss any video, and give this video a thumbs up if you like it. And if you do have any questions, please ask them in the comments and maybe I will answer them in my next Q&A. So let's start. The first question is, do you have some free time? Yeah, I do, but not a lot. I do travel a lot, as you can see on my YouTube channel, and also on my Instagram you can see I'm doing many things. I'm doing fencing, I'm doing a fashion study, I do have a boyfriend who needs some attention, I do have my own friends, I have my family. I'm also doing a lot of projects by myself, so I'm always busy. But I do have some free time because I always said, like, I'm training during the week, like every day. Sometimes it's fencing, sometimes it's with my personal trainer, sometimes it's swimming, but I do have training every day. And I said to my coach, like, when I don't have any competitions in the weekends, it's weekend, I'm just free, and then the most of the time I do go to my boyfriend, or he does come to me, and we are just going to chill out, watch some movies, and most of the time we are with friends. So I do have some free time, but I really have to plan it, because it's not like normal, like I'm going back from school and I have time to watch some Netflix or watch TV. I don't even have a TV in my house because I don't have time to watch it. So I do have free time, not a lot. I've got a question, or I ever had like a huge fan before. That's just weird to say, because I don't really see myself like someone who has fans, like people are really following me. But yeah, I do have a fan. Her name is Romy. She saw me on TV while I was doing the misverkiezing in Holland. She saw me on TV, and yeah, she just got like really inspired about me, and I was doing fencing. So the moment she saw me, she told her mom, I want to do fencing. She's 8 years old, and then she did start to do fencing, and I met her, and she's adorable. Romy, she's such an inspirational girl, especially for her age, the things she's doing, and that's just awesome. I will put her Instagram below, please check it out, because she's so inspiring. So yeah, I do have a fan. Okay, what are the moments you really do have problems with your prosthetic? So as you guys know, I do walk on a prosthetic, but I also do use a wheelchair. Sometimes it's just because it's, especially during competitions, I do use my wheelchair a lot, because otherwise I have to put my leg on, off. But sometimes I have weeks that I do have a lot of pain. This can be like in different situations. The last week I've been a lot in my wheelchair because of the weather. Because in Holland, the weather, the one day it can be like 20 degrees, and the other day it can be like 1 degree, and it's just like this. And because of that, I do have a lot of problems, especially when it's cold. I do get a lot of pain in my stomach, so I can't walk. And yeah, then I do have to use my wheelchair, and I can't walk on my prosthetic. So it's also very interesting how it works with my energy, because I do have more energy when I use my wheelchair, but I do want to walk as much as possible. So I'm really trying to find a way to do this. So this is one big problem I do have with my prosthetic, but that's on walking. Another problem I have is, like, I don't care that I can't walk on high heels, but sometimes I just have days that I'm like, okay, I'm going to a party, every girl will be on high heels, and I can't. And especially with the clothes I wear, especially when I'm like in all 50s style clothes, like I just do want to wear like nice heels from a vintage shop, but I I can't, so that's also something I don't like about having a prosthetic. But I can walk, and sneakers are also awesome. And that let me think about another question I got, and that is, are you a real sneakerhead? And if you are, show us the collection. I can't show my sneaker collection because I'm in Istanbul right now in a hotel, as you can see. So maybe I will make another fashion video where I will also show my shoe collection. But yeah, I do have a lot of sneakers, and this is especially because I can't walk on heels. I can't walk on most shoes, even when the heels are just very, very tiny, like 1 or 2 centimeters. It's already a problem. So I'm actually always walking on sneakers. I do have a lot of Vans. I love Vans. It's just, those shoes are awesome. I do like Fila, and I do have a lot of Adidas shoes. So yeah, I do have a lot of sneakers. Maybe not as much as other sneakerheads, but I do have a lot of sneakers. So maybe another video I will show you my collection. Okay, what do you miss the most before you got RSD? So for the people who doesn't know this story, I will tell just a short part of it. When I was 11, I was playing with my sister and I broke my toe, and because of this my nerve system crashed and I've got RSD, and because of that I came in a wheelchair. I couldn't walk anymore. So yeah, that's just a very small part of the story. And now 3 years ago I've got my amputation, but before that I've been in a wheelchair for almost 5 years. So when I was 11 I could still walk, and the thing I do miss the most is, I think, doing gymnastics and rhythmic gymnastics, because I did gymnastics and rhythmic gymnastics on quite a high level. I did do some small competitions and stuff in Holland, and I just really enjoyed doing it. And in the beginning it was like not a big problem for me, and I do have fencing, of course, but like a few weeks ago I started to watch gymnastic videos again, and I just really miss it. So just doing it, like, even if it's just for one time again, it's just like there was one point where I couldn't do this at all, where I just had to stop doing gymnastics, and that's just something I do really hate. So I hope in the future there's like one day I can do like a little training with a coach to just learn some things that I can do on one leg. So that's a big dream of mine. So I hope I can make this possible, and of course I will make an awesome video about that. But yeah, that's a big dream to do gymnastics again, just once. So that's the thing I do really miss before I came in a wheelchair. Next question is a little bit different, because it's not a question I'm gonna answer in the way this person wants me to answer it, and it is, do you want to make a video about your stump and your prosthetic? I know these questions, I know these people, and it's not like just someone who's interesting in how it like looks like because he needs to go through an amputation. It's just interesting. No, these are people who are doing other stuff on those videos. Yeah, it's like a stump fetish. It's strange. I don't want to give too much attention to this, but I do get a lot of questions from especially older men, or I want to do stuff with them, or I want to make videos. I even got a question, or I want to make a 5-minute video about my stump, and he wanted to pay me 400 euros. I didn't do this because I know what's happening with those videos and what those men are doing with it. So I hate those questions. It's just insane. I'm 18 years old. I've got this question since I'm like 15, 16 years old, and I don't want to pay attention to this. But I think it's important to know, if any other boy or girl getting these questions because they have an amputation, please ignore them, because it's like, it's easy because they're just sending this on social media, so it's easy to ignore them. You can block them, don't pay too much attention to this, but you're not the only one who's getting this. So yeah, it's something that I think not a lot of people know, that this is actually happening. So yeah, that's why I wanted to answer this question. Another fun question is, why did you choose to do fencing? So yeah, that's interesting. So I'm going back to like 4.5 years ago. I was 13, I think. And at that time, like I told you before, I was doing gymnastics and rhythmic gymnastics, and I was training. I always loved doing sports. And in one point, I just couldn't do any sport anymore. And the first 1.5 year after this all happened, I wasn't allowed to sit in a wheelchair, and I was always walking around on crutches. I've been in a rehabilitation center for 6 months. After that, I went to school, and I did had a lot of pain, and I didn't have any social life anymore, because my energy level was for like 5 hours a day. So in 5 hours, I had to eat, I had to go to school, I had to take a shower, I had to do everything in those 5 hours. And the other 19 hours, I was just laying in my bed. That was like on the worst point of the pain I had. And I wanted to do something I like, because I was just doing things that I didn't like, that other people wanted me to do, that the doctors told me to do. And that was just like, I want to do something I like. And I immediately searched for a sport. And yeah, this is quite personal, but I was in a really big depression because of everything that was happening at that point. Don't want to pay too much attention on that in this video, but when I was in this depression, at one point I figured out I wanted to get out of this, and for me the only way was doing a sport again. So that's the moment I was looking for a wheelchair sport, and there was a really big list with all the wheelchair sports that you can possibly think of. And there were so many sports that at one point I thought I saw fencing, but I have dyslexia. And when I look back on the website, there wasn't any wheelchair fencing on it. But because I saw wheelchair fencing, I was searching on Google, and I found a club in Holland, and then I started to do it. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna try some sports, and I'm gonna do the one I like the most. The first sport I did was fencing. The last sport I did was fencing. And I fell in love like the first second I hold a weapon. And now I'm traveling around the world, going to all the competitions, want to qualify for the Paralympics. It's just awesome. So yeah, that's why I started doing fencing. So it's just dope. Fencing is dope. Everyone should try fencing, especially when you're a Star Wars freak. Start fencing. It's like playing with lightsabers, but then without lightsabers, but real sabers. So you just should do fencing, do wheelchair fencing, do normal fencing. Fencing is just epic. And that question made the last question of this video. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Oké. Even ademhalen, want ik adem te weinig.